Good morning, everyone. My name is Laura Stranks and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Brisbane, Queensland, Australia. Thanks for joining me again today. For those that are regulars that watch my channel, if you haven't already watched before, love you to subscribe. My YouTube channel is called Creative Gems. If it's the first time you're watching, welcome. Just go through one of the main things on here. I've got a Facebook group called Laura's Craft Room Tips and Tutorials. Now, all the PDFs for these cards, along with my all my other YouTube videos and my live videos that I do on a Saturday morning in this group, they're all pinned to the featured the files tab in that group, so you can always access them there. And also the measurements and all will be in the description box of the video today, so you can get them from there. If you don't want to join my other big group, that's fine. You can always get the measurements and then just watch the video of how the card is put together. If you do wish to join this group, just be sure you find the two questions that you need to join. One, why you wish to join the group, and the other is that you agree to the rules. If you don't see the questions on the device you're on, just go to a different device. If you're on your phone, try your iPad or PC. That is pretty much all of the intro little bit that I'm going to do. We're going to get straight into this card today. It's called a square quilted card. Now, there's been lots of versions around of this one, so I'm going to show you the way I did it. Last week's video was one of the or it was a box actually, that we did at our craft retreat a few weeks ago. I'm going through all the projects. There's some of them that are already up on my YouTube channel that we've done, and this is one that hasn't been done on YouTube for my channel before, and we did it at the retreat. The girls loved it, thought it was really nice once it was finished. I'm doing it in different colours today, so I'll show you how it's all put together. We have stamped just a greeting inside this today. I've got a couple of strips of DSP to put in the inside, and I'll show you how it works. So I'll put that over there. I've already scored my base, and I've got my measurements here for all the pieces that you will need. So we'll start off. This is pretty peacock, the base that I'm doing for this one. It measures 11 by 5.5, and I've scored it in half at 5.5, so that gives you your square card base. I'll just burnish that as well. And then my mat, I've chosen Cherry Cobbler. I'll get all the pieces over here. Cherry Cobbler is my mat on there, which is an 1/8 of an inch border all the way around. I'll just square that little bit up a little bit better than what it was. That's better. Cherry Cobbler for that one, which is 5 1/4 by 5 1/4, and then a basic white is 5 by 5. I've chosen the white because it makes it stand out. You'll see when I'm finished how it stands out a lot better. DSP, there's two designs. My first piece is this one, which I thought I dropped something on the floor, but I don't think I did. Hopefully not. This piece here is the Regal Distressed DSP. It's just a one-sided. There's 3 different patterns in the paper. One's in the Pretty Peacock, one's in this, and I think there's a white and gold piece as well. So I'm using that first. And then the other DSP, we need 4 of these. 1 1/4 by 1 1/4, and there's 4 of those, and I'll show you how I'm cutting those in a minute. They're from the Elegant Pine Snowflake DSP. It's one of the new DSPs in there. I've got a little diamond shape for my greeting, and I've changed the greeting as well. I've got 'Tis the Season. They come from this one here, Pine Tree Trimmings, which goes with the paper. There's dies in there as well, and the die that I used at the top here is this little one here from Words of Beauty bundle. So that's all of those, and I've got some embellishments to put on as well. My inside piece 5 1/4 by 5 1/4, and I've added this one. I've added a couple of strips of the DSP from the pack, 5 1/4 by 1 inch, and there's 2 of those, and embellishments. So we shall get started. I'll leave that aside. We don't need that. Now we can. I'll leave that off. We'll do this piece first. What you need to do, you'll need your scorer for this, and we're going to score it into even squares. Now it's 5 by 5, so at 2 1/2. You could put pencil marks here, but I prefer to score it because I'm going to emboss this when I've finished. 2 1/2 on both sides to give you a point to work from. Put that aside. Now, as you can see, I'm not going to bend that because it's going to end up getting embossed. What you need to do is put the point there and the point there on that score line, and then over here and over here on the score line. That will make sure it ends up in exactly the right spot. So it will sit like that, and that will make it nice and even on your square. So I'll just use a little bit of liquid glue for that. Glue it down. We can glue all these down first before we emboss. Once you emboss over those score lines, and you don't even see the score lines. Make sure this goes into a diamond shape, not a square. So I'm just going to sort of guide it from there to there. If you get the up and down ones square, these should end up where they should sit. So do top and bottom here, points facing the score line, and those should line up on the score line exactly. So that's the start of it. Now we're going to cut these pieces. I've got 2 and 2. 2 of them I'm going to cut in half. So I'm putting the 2 together because I find it's easier this way, and you get an exact same piece. And I'm doing it freehand. It is really hard to put these onto your trimmer and cut them in half without them moving, because they're such tiny pieces. This way you can hold them, and if you've got a long enough pair, these aren't quite long, but you just aim your scissors from the point and across to the point like so, and you get a fairly good cut with those 2. So we'll put those there for a sec. These 2 we're going to do the same, but we're going to cut into quarters. So I've got the 2 together like that, cut from there across to there. I'll leave those 2 there for a sec. And then this here, if you go from the point across and sort of aim straight, you should get it reasonably straight if you just eyeball like so. So I've got 4 of those. Some of the ladies struggled keeping it straight, and they ended up with all sorts of funny shapes. But I started from the point out here and cut here. You should have a pair of scissors that will cut straight across like so. Even if they're not exact, they should be pretty good. So we end up with 8 of those and 4 of these. Now, as you can see from this one, or you probably can't, the 4 bigger ones that I just cut in half, they're going on the inside of this panel, and with the long edge, this long edge here, facing the outside. So they will go like so. We're going to try and eyeball them so they're in the middle, either side. They match up pretty easily, like so. So we're going to stick those down. Try and get them even this way as well. There's no score line or anything there. I don't think it's necessary. You could score that way on the diagonal as well from the start, but I find it's easy enough to line these up. So long edge to the outside, and just sort of eyeball. It's got to that long edge has got to sit exactly on this outside edge of this first piece that you put down, and from there to there is pretty much the same width away. And then I'll do this one on this side. It's quite an effective card once you get all your pieces done. Same here. I'm going to line it up on that outside edge and eyeball it so it's sort of, if it's got lines on your paper, we can sort of line it up with the lines, which is even easier. So I've got it pretty much pointing to that point over there. And then the two on the other side. Paste down there. I'll move it over a little bit to make sure that's the beauty of using liquid glue. You can slide it over. Just make sure that's even along there, no gap on your DSP, like so. And then this one, easy as. Long edge to the outside. I chose the white background because it makes the rest of the pattern in the center stand out quite a bit. And then if you use some bit darker colors, that's about even. Actually, I'll move it across because I can line it up with that point there. Try and get it straight, and it's on that line. So that's those four, that's how that'll sit. Now these 8 pieces, the long edge here, so you've got 2 shorter edges around here. It's this long edge here. It faces towards the center. It's going sitting out here. Doesn't matter which way your patterns line up. So these 2 long edges are coming out, facing outwards. And then I'll just put them, sit them all there for now. So that one out that way, and this one out this way. The points meet there in the center, and the outside edge lines up out there, so they should fit exactly. And another one there. All the way around. And you can see a pattern forming. I think these colours go nice together as well. So all of those sit out there. So long as you remember your 2 longer edges are facing each other in the centre. So we can glue all those down. Lay them out first if you're not sure, just to make sure, so you can see that it's where it's going to sit. Nothing worse than gluing it down and then it's the wrong spot. These, if you line this outside point up with that point out there, that will work out perfectly. Just take a little while to glue all these. And the points meet in the center and the outside point meets out there on the outside edge of that first piece you put around. When you emboss it, it sort of all blends in together then. It looks much better. You could leave it going this way. Like so. Push it butt up against that edge so you haven't got a gap in there. We had a lovely retreat. It was over 2 days. I had 10 ladies plus my crafting buddy helped me with all the projects. Everything was stamped and cut, and all they had to do was assemble, and we talked them through it all. No one got left behind. If you finished before anybody else, you didn't go ahead with the next step. You would just wait, have a chat between yourselves, and then yeah, they all finished at the same time. It was over 2 days, so it was quite busy. I was exhausted on Monday, had a fair, oh actually Monday I had to go with my daughter-in-law. She's having a bub and she was having a scan. She asked me to go with her and I was really tired by the time I got home. I love going with her. Nearly done that way. It's easy if these are cut correctly. It is really easy to line these up. I like this colour palette too. And that one will face that way. And that is that. Now we'll just give it a second or two to dry. We can't do much more. I shall put this together while I'm waiting. If you put it through when the glue is still wet through it, I'm not sure what had happened, but I'm thinking that it would sort of tear a little bit or break. So I'm going to do this little bit first. I can put dimensionals on the back of this. Got a fairly new pack here. So we'll put those 4 on. You could use any greeting you like. And then I'm also going to set it up on dimensionals for this. So we'll just put a couple in the center of this because I know it's going to overhang each side. I could probably put another one on the outer edge. That should be enough anyway. We'll leave it at that. I go overboard sometimes with my dimensionals. I don't like, once you've spent all that time doing a lovely card, pick this up. I want it just sitting so it sits in the middle of those points, which it's going to go out there and out there. That's the beauty of doing circles. You can turn it whichever way you like. Just move that out a bit. That's pretty close. We won't put that on yet. We'll put some embellishments on that. Now I'm going to go to the back. We used, can't remember the name of this folder. It's similar to this. This one's called Exposed Brick, and it's sort of multi-pattern, sort of blotchy sort of pattern. So it works in well with this, and when you do it, you won't see those score lines that we originally put on. And it is directional, so keep it in the direction. I'm just going to run it through over the back here because I don't want the desk moving. I found when I first started doing videos and I had the cut and emboss machine on the desk, it wobbled the whole camera and all, so you can't even see where those score lines were originally, and it just gives it a nice texture all over the pattern. It sort of blends it all together. So then we can add that to here. Looks really pretty. I think the hardest part sometimes creating a card is getting your colours coordinating and what goes with what. I usually pull out the DSP that I want first, and then I coordinate my colours from that. So that's just a single sheet there. We'll put that on there, which is 1/8 of an inch border all the way around. And then that will go on the card front. It's 5.5 by 5.5, so it will fit. If you've got 6 by 6 envelopes, it will easily fit in those, which is a fairly standard envelope for a square one, a big square one. So that one will go on there. Another 1/8 inch border all the way around. Make it straight, Laura. Beauty of glue. Get it nice and straight. And then I've got that to pop in the middle. I could have used the base colour on there, but that's fine. I like the red on there. A little bit of red's good. I could have used the Pretty Peacock as the matte, which I did on this one. The blue matched the matte card base on that one. Personal choice. Got all those off. And try and get a smallish sort of greeting to go in the middle. You don't want anything too big that's going to cover up your design. So that's on there. And we can put the inside piece in. I did change the pattern here for the inside. That's one of the other papers in there, in that pack. Just a bit of glue all the way around. Nice and even on that. That's that. And some embellishments. And we are all done. Very quick card to do. Once you cut all your pieces, I'm going to use the gold on these because that's real red. That green doesn't go with it, and neither does the blue. So we shall use, just get my pick tool. We'll use the small ones. I'm going to make sure I've got enough. I've got another pack there. I'll get them out if I need to. I'm just going to put two. The funny thing of my crafting friend, she had all of these silvery ones, and she only lives probably 10 minutes or so away. But when we went to do the card, she realised she'd left them at home, and she was going to get her hubby to drop them off. And I said, no, we'll just change to a different embellishment. And we did. We used the silver on the druzy ones, and they looked really pretty. So we didn't need to get her hubby to drop them off. They look just as nice. And with these, we just put two. We did two with the druzy ones as well, only because you would use up a lot of embellishments. So I think it looks really pretty with that. And then I'll use a couple of bigger ones, save me getting I'll use a couple of big ones out here. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, and we'll do one more, a little one at the bottom, just the last one. Actually, it's not going to fit. Actually, I know what I will do. We'll put a big one here. Lots of sparkle. And another one there. That is so pretty. Turned out better than I thought. Nice quick video today. I think I've got another one for next week. So that's 2 out of the 10 we've done. There are some of them that we did that are already up on my YouTube channel. There's a diamondy one. There's another box, but I think it's a little bit too involved to be doing a video on it. So I'll see how it goes. But that's it from me today. I hope you enjoyed that, and have a go. And if you're in my group, share your cards. Love to see what you create. And I'll catch you all again next week. Have a lovely week. Bye for now.